So I just completed a video talking about ways to maintain clarity, and I realized that I have to preface this by saying that everything that you do is either getting you closer to remembrance or further away. What do I mean by this? This whole journey, everything in life is designed to allow you to remember who you are. But when we come into this realm, there are so many things that take us off that path. There are so many things that keep us away from recognizing that is our goal, that is our mission in life. So, everything you do is either getting you closer to remembering who you are and why you came here, or it's taking you further away. So, this has a lot to do with programming from a very young age. As children, we come into this world full of light. We come into this world full of joy. Yes, we have some traumas from a past life or from our ancestors or generational trauma. Yes, we experience trauma through the birthing process itself. And yes, we probably have experienced some of the intense emotions that our mothers were dealing with as they were carrying us. However, all that being said, we come into this world with light, nothing but light, determined to undo all of that and create a life and a lineage of light, joy, and passion, right? So, as children, that is why we're here. And you see this a lot in children when they're playing, when they're going about their daily lives, and they're just so imaginative, they're so full of life, and they're so playful, and they're so curious. And around the age of 7 is when we start to see this light being dimmed, is when we start to see the programming really taking full effect. And now in modern days, it's getting even crazier. It's getting even more intense. They are programming these children from really young ages, such as 2 years old, 3 years old, and sometimes even sooner. So, all that being said, we want to understand how deep this goes and how long this process has been taking place. It's been happening since before you were even conceived. So it takes a lot of work for us to undo this and to begin to return back to this light and return back to this remembrance. So here are some things that are essentially keeping us away from remembering. Everything you eat, everything you listen to, your friends, all the things that you do, your habits, your jobs, your relationships, your beliefs. These are all inputs that we experience on a daily basis. It's never ending. This is your experience. It's constant inputs, constant inputs. And a lot of people are going throughout life unaware that these inputs are even taking place. They're subconsciously going through and receiving inputs that have been programmed for them to receive. So these are things like limiting beliefs, a lackful mindset, junk food, fast food, all these things that have been placed into our psyche, and for us to believe that this is the way it's supposed to be. And so a lot of people, due to their emotional state and due to their lack of awareness of how their nervous system is regulated, are going to gravitate towards these things that have been placed into our reality. And these are things that constantly keep us subdued and keep people in a state of programming. And so they're further programmed, they're further able to contribute to this ultimate agenda to maximize the amount of people who have forgotten who they are. And when we get to a point, if we ever get to a point where everyone forgets who they are, then this is where we become robots. This is where we become essentially products of the program. And so everything we do is pushing us further into that. But the beauty of it is that when you start to consciously choose your inputs, when you start to consciously choose what you put into your body and on your body, when you consciously choose your friends, people that are going to elevate you and get you closer to the life that you desire or raise your frequency, when you consciously choose the jobs that are truly a passion for you or enhance your creativity or make you feel like you are contributing to society as a whole, when you choose your relationships intentionally, they not only help you elevate as a being, but they help you get closer to self and remember who you are. So, that being said, all we have to begin to do is to consciously choose our inputs. And by doing so, it will help unlock this part of us that has been blocked for so many years, and for many people, many lifetimes. If I had to group all of these things that are keeping us blocked into one term, I would call them toxins. These are toxins in our food. These are toxins in the media that we're consuming. These are toxins in the people that we are choosing to associate with, in our thoughts, in our beliefs, in our habits. Like, people have so many toxic habits that they're unaware of, but because they've been doing it for so long, they don't recognize it as a toxic habit. So when we become aware of all the toxicity in our life, we can begin to detoxify. This is why detoxing the body, detoxing the mind, detoxing the spirit is so crucial, because it eliminates the blockages that are keeping us from remembering who we are and from speaking with our higher selves and receiving the messages in the download that are going to help us propel as an individual, but also as a collective. And once one person begins to do the work, everyone around them begins to do the work as well, because we are a reflection of each other. I am you and you are me. We are all one. And so the more we decide to do this work, the more we begin to elevate the consciousness and return back to self. So how do we begin to choose our inputs? First, you have to take inventory. You have to know and understand where you currently are in life so that you have something to work towards. If you're someone who's always wanted to clean their diet, start there. I recommend starting small every time we try to make any sort of changes like this in our lives, because it's these small changes that lead us to quantum leaps. When you start small with something as simple as removing all junk food, all processed foods from your diet, if you're someone who doesn't currently consume that, amazing. You're already 10 steps ahead of 95% of the population. The next thing that you want to do is start to incorporate more fruits and vegetables and living foods in your diet. You can cook them, you can chop them up, you can add sauces. There's so many beautiful things that you can do with foods that are living, that are beneficial to your vessel. Once you start to change your diet, you begin to see clearly other things around you in your home that may need to be cleaned. You may see the friends that you've been hanging out with were not really your friends to begin with. They were only with you because you guys were a vibrational match. You begin to see that everything around you becomes a reflection of how you're feeling internally. Things just start to work out. Opportunities start to come, because you have cleared the vessel, not only internally, but energetically. You are now an energetic match to receiving opportunities and things and gifts from the universe. Really, they're your higher self giving you exactly what you need to elevate to the next level. But you couldn't receive those before because you were blocked. Inputs start to come towards you, such as therapy sessions that you may have never thought of doing, and that then begins to work on your thoughts. You can begin to listen to different music. So a lot of people don't realize how influential music is in our lives. Everything comes back to frequency. So if you're listening to music, it is a frequency transfer, and you then take on that frequency of the music that you're listening to. I understand there are moments in life where we want to get hype, we want to get crunk, we want to get turned, and that's great. And that's actually, in those moments when you do it with that intention, it's great. It's a great elevator. However, some people will sit in the frequency that they're currently in, listen to something like trap music or music that is degrading to self and to others. Because it's degrading others, it's degrading self, and they'll just nod their head to it, not realizing that they're subliminally picking up on these messages to degrade self. So I recommend maybe switching it up and listening to more instrumentals, getting into vibes, really feeling those cosmic frequencies coming to you and through you, and it will begin to also clean you energetically. So not only does food clean us, but frequencies, sound meditation, sound healing. There are so many great artists that have instrumental music. And if you choose to listen to music with words, make sure that these words are powerful, affirmative, and are going to be beneficial to the mind, body, and the spirit. Motivational speaking is really great. Affirmational speaking, anything of that nature is going to be beneficial to you on this journey. So this is what I mean by choosing your inputs. If you choose what you listen to, it becomes your reality. Okay, so I went on a bit of a tangent there, but Yes, begin to choose your inputs, start small, and know that one will snowball into the other. You do not have to make a million changes at once. I actually don't recommend that because that is the quickest way for a lot of people to fall off this journey is they become overwhelmed with all of the changes that they have to implement. So I recommend starting one. And then once you've done that for some time and you created some new habits, I recommend looking into a method of detoxifying the body completely. This will allow you to have a full reset. It will allow you to create the clarity that you need to move forward. When you begin to make these changes, they're just an indication to you that you are the creator of your reality. You have the ability to create new habits. And once you've done that, you want to get to a point where you can completely cleanse the vessel, completely cleanse the body, the mind, and the spirit. And if you want to know more on how you can begin to start this journey or any resources that might help you out at this time, be sure to check out the links below. I have a ton of resources in my community. I even have a course on how to detox for clarity. And I will be hosting a masterclass on nervous system resetting because a lot of the reason why we aren't able to hold on to these habits and these new beliefs that are coming into us, or the reason why we're not able to choose our inputs, is because our nervous system is running the show. So I want to share with you all how to begin to recognize when this is taking place and how you can begin to reverse it and return back to self. Thank you.